I'm 67.
I am 17 years old.
I'll be 70 in a month from
The least
today.
favorite thing about church is that, and this is going to sound really weird, that church is full of people who aren't perfect. And you've got to remember that. So it means that if somebody makes a mistake, for example, I've really struggled sometimes with the fact that some of my non-Christian friends have been much nicer to me and treated me much better than my Christian friends have.
Every time I go there, I'm never gonna like. Every time I go there, I'm always gonna experience joy, no matter how I'm feeling.
Wow. Pass. You.
How do you listen to hear what the Spirit would have you do?
How do you listen to hear what the Spirit would have you to do, Ruth?
I try and carve out like an hour, maybe half an hour before I go to bed, where I can just like sit with my worship music in my headphones and I can just read my Bible, because it's just a time where you can just kind of unwind, give God everything that's happened in your day, good and bad, and just listen and hear what the Spirit have to say and all that. Yeah.
Great.
Who is Jesus?
I would say Jesus is, he's just is.
I mean, like, our Savior, I guess. And just like a person that understands all of us in a way that we can't understand ourselves.
Are we ready? Let's get started.
Well, we are ready. Promise Rose said it all. We are ready. Let's get started. This is the generational panel. Wow. And we are coming to you from all over the world. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to see all the places that we are tuning into you live here at Intergenerate 2026 online version. Well, beside me, this is my alpha version. All right. So my alpha version. What's your name? Okay. And you are what? You're alpha. All right. So it's my alpha girl. So we also have some other panelists on, and I want them to go ahead and introduce themselves. And I'm just going to start with John. John, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is John, and I am of the baby boomer generation. And I am a member of Sampson's Mills Presbyterian Church in White Oak, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
And I participate in a program called EPIC that we have every Wednesday with youth from our church. And I work with teenagers and teach Bible study. And the EPIC program stands for Eat, Pray, Inspire, and Connect.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's hear. Jenny, we start with you.
Kia ora. So my name's Jeannine Sarevi, and I'm the senior pastor at the Salvation Army in Lower Hutt, which is Wellington, New Zealand. So privileged to be with you today.
Kia ora. My name is Rangimarie, and I'm a youth part of Hutt City Salvation Army, and I'm a Gen Z.
All right, Mari. All right. Gen Z is in the house. All right. So we have a double thing going on, right? And Drew is cool, right? Because Drew represents, the cool gen. All right.
That's right. Hey, guys, I'm Drew. I'm pastor of Intergenerational Ministries and the Arts here at Village Church in Portland, Oregon. And I'm a millennial. So let's go, let's go millennial.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. So, folks, we've been at this because the IYS mutual interview that we have been doing from last year, and we've been hitting the world with this. One of the first questions in the mutual interview, which is an opportunity for generations to deliberately, intentionally listen to each other, right? So one of the questions, and it was a trendy question, was this. What was your worst food? What's your worst food? So I want to start there with Kabrielle. Tell me, what's your worst food?
I mean, my worst food is quesadillas with beans and cheese and mayonnaise.
Yeah. So, bean, cheese, or mayo. Who's going next? Just tell me. Who's going to tell me next? What's your worst food?
So for me, I know most people love them, but I can't stand avocado. Ooh, gross texture.
Do I say? Oh yeah, my worst food is probably kumara, or it's sweet potato. Kumara is the Māori word for it, but I do not like sweet potato. It's too mushy. It's too sweet.
Uh-huh. Okay, I got you. I don't like potatoes, mashed potatoes and those stuff. So I guess, but I like sweet potatoes. All right, but all right. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go.
My worst food is one that my father served to me when I was a child, and it was so horrible that I still remember it and can still taste it to this day. And it was
tripe.
Oh,
And
what?
for
What kind of
those of
tripe?
you who don't know what that is, it's like the lining of a cow's stomach.
Yeah, I know that.
And I still have bad memories of it.
In Jamaica, we call that I guess maybe it's a hybrid of mannish water. All right, so tripe stomach. All right, Drew, what are you coming with?
Yeah. I try to keep a pretty optimistic look on life, so I try not to say I don't like certain foods. I can even appreciate like durian flavors, like I'm okay. But for me, it's anything like artificial cherry. Like anything artificial cherry, I cannot do it. No.
Oh man. All right, so I have quite a bit of worst food. Well, this is one. I'm gonna go in the cattle region again, right? So cow skin. If you have ever had cow skin, right? Oh man, that thing is sticky and slimy. It's like chicken foot, right? Yeah, that's the worst food. It's the worst food, I'm telling you. So here we go. I hope that those who are on listening, you might be just say some of what your worst food is. And as we go forward with this intergenerational or generational panel discussion, we want you to interact in the Zoom. If you're watching on YouTube, we're live on our YouTube page. We're inviting you to also paste or post your comments there as well. I see we have someone who is joining us. That's Peter. Peter is coming in a little bit late. So Peter,
hi.
Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thank you.
So tell me, what's your generation? And
old.
Where you're coming to us from, and what is your worst food?
So they say I'm in my 50s, so I don't know what generation that is. But this is my teenage son's bedroom. So this is the room. You can see that he's got his stuff behind me. So he's the Gen Z, but he's away working at the moment, so I can't do that. He couldn't come. But yeah, my worst food probably McDonald's. Am I allowed to say that in this group? Yeah, because it's just a bit fake and a bit not good for the health.
Okay, McDonald's. All right, so we're level now, right? Because now we have a Gen X. We have a Gen X with us, so we'll roll with the Gen X. Peter, can we label you Gen X?
Yes, please do. That's fine. Fine.
Roll with the label. All right, so Promise Rose is in the house, and Promise Rose gotta say, I agree with him about the tribe. Oh yeah. All right, nobody wants tribe, but you know what we want? We want to hear the answer to this question. And we're gonna start with you, seeing that you're on screen, Peter. And this is it. What does family mean to you?
Oh, family is my life. Family is the center of my life. I have 4 children, and it means everything to me, probably, in terms of that. I think everything in value and worth and all of the above. I think family is really important.
I like that. Kabrielle, what about you?
Family is like a loving connection with one another. You get to have a great connection, like I said. And there's another type of family, which is people all around the world, connections with them.
Well, I like that. So there are 2 kinds of family. I like that. So that's the alpha version. All right, I can hear that. All right. who else would like to chime in? What's family to you?
To me, family obviously is the people that I'm closest to, my son who lives in Ohio, my grandchildren, but also my church family. I lost my wife in August of last year, and the church family really came to my support in a big way. So they are extremely important to me, and I value them greatly.
Yeah, sorry about your loss. Sorry about your loss, John. Yeah, and I'm grateful that the church community really coming like that. All right, Drew, tell us, and then we're gonna go to
Yeah. So for me, family is people who we can build off each other's jokes. We appreciate each other's weirdness, but also I think family, it can be your biological family, which in my case it is, but it can be the people you choose to be around. But I think family is also security and stability. So I think those are the main things I would say: family, security, stability, people who can really get you and build off your weirdness, all your weirdness.
Yeah. I feel you. All right, let's go over here. Jeannine and Rangimarie. I think I get it. Sorry.
That's right. You got it. Family to me is obviously it's your family, but it's also not just blood relation. It's anybody that you might have a strong connection with, and me personally as well. My church family, I'm very connected with them. So I just think anyone you have a strong connection with.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, for me, family's everything. I love my immediate family immensely, but I love the fact that in New Zealand we use a word called whānau, and it really talks about our wider family. So church family, people we're connected with just in life, who we choose to journey with. And I love the fact that for us, we have that real broad expression of what whānau means to us is anyone who would come on the journey with us and live life with us.
Yes, I really like that, because even as I'm listening to each generation as you're speaking, sometimes we think that we have so many things that we're so different, but just listening on each person giving the description of what family means, we already are showing that we have a common denominator where we appreciate our bloodline, as Kabrielle said, but family is other persons. That's what I'm hearing all of us saying. So that's a place where when we listen to each other, I guess we can build on that, because I kind of feel like we're like creating a family bond here, even though it's the first time many of us seeing each other, talking to each other in this way. All right, anyone would like to add to that before we go to our next question? All right, no pressure. All right, so here it is. Now, the next trend question in our interview, in a mutual interview, is this: who is Jesus to you? Okay, bro. Speak up a little bit, sweetheart.
For me, Jesus is the kind of person that has a good connection with me, is protecting me.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Who would like to go next?
My Lord and I believe the moral center of the universe.
He's a moral center of the universe.
That's beautiful. I kind of went universal as well. I think Jesus is like the ruler of the cosmos, over in charge of all things. Jesus is the reason that everything exists, but also Jesus is the one who's going to make everything right in the end, restoring and reconciling all things back to God. So to me, Jesus is like the full picture, Yeah.
I just want to, interact even with you on that, Drew, because many times when we really lean into this and we look at Jesus, it's like we start to see him as not someone that we can feel, we can touch, we can hear with, and we can interact with. But based on what you're saying, he is that central thing, So I like that. Peter.
Yeah, I see Jesus as a rock, as somewhere to be grounded, as that place that gives peace, that we can always rely on. That however stupid we are and however crazy we go off the edge, we can always come back to, and I find that reassuring and amazing.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The anchor in the storm, as they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, Jesus is all about, I love the fact that for me, it's about intimate relationship with my Savior. And like Jesus is the one that gives me hope in life. Jesus is the one who gives me strength when I don't actually have any. Jesus is the one who is like a constant companion for me in everyday life. And so, I just love the fact that for me, my relationship with Jesus is a really literal thing. Like I really, for me, he is my everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus to me, he's the savior of the world, and then he's somebody that you can confide in. Like when you do that relationship, and when you do find it and connect with him, and he's genuinely like there for you, and he's someone that you can lean on, as if you would lean on like your friend or mom or your dad or whoever, like he's another that you can lean on. And he's just a good example of somebody to try and live like your best up to, you know what I mean?
I think it's like these two questions, they connect deeply because I'm seeing we're using familiar language in the way in which we're, relating to Jesus, right? So to me, Jesus is family. Jesus is family. Times that he feels like a big brother. He feels like a big brother to me, and not just a savior. Of course, we know Jesus for me is savior, but sometimes he really does feel like a big brother. I recall there was a time, growing up in school where when it's lunchtime, I'll go and we'll play and we'll have fun outside, kicking ball, playing soccer. And there was this time I almost get into a conflict where I was playing the keeper. I grabbed the ball so I could save a goal, and then I give the person who was coming, and they run inside of my arm. My Lord. And I was gonna get beat down, right? But right there, my brother just condescended on the situation, right? And I was protected. There are times that Jesus just feel like that to me. Maybe it feel like savior for some person, but for me, it's like a brotherly kind of connection, which I appreciate. That I can go to Jesus with it, and even coming from my generational perspective, even though I'm the host, right? Let me just share a little bit. Sometimes, we feel that the world don't really understand us. Sometimes we also feel that the world does not give us a chance. And Jesus is like that for me, where he always understand me, always give me a chance, always say, hey, listen, you matter. You can talk to me. So for me, Jesus is my big brother. I'm gonna roll with that. Jesus is my big brother. And anyone else on Jesus?
I'll just add one other thing, that whenever I find myself trying to solve my own problems and rely on just me to try to do it, things don't work out as well as when I give them over to Jesus. When I ask Jesus for help with something, or I, have prayerful conversation, then I feel that I do much better, or the results are much better, rather than trying to be selfish and just trying to solve problems on my own.
Yeah. So that conversation with Jesus is very important in problem solving and just relating to life. Someone was saying, who was connected with that? So Jeannine? That wasn't you.
That was Rangimarie.
All right. Okay. All right. No. Okay. So we're going back to our generation, right? And I want each person to tell me about that, because I know Drew and I can go on and we can dominate this conversation because it's two of us right now.
That's right.
Right? So we're going to give the others first, and then we hear from Drew. Tell us, what make your generation unique?
So for Gen X, I think one of our unique characters is the fact that we are, I think, probably seen as people who are very reliable. If we say we're going to do something, we do it. I would say something that was drilled into our generation was really strong work ethic. We were hard workers. But I also think that there's things that the way that we grew up, we learned to be pretty robust. Like, there weren't a lot of health and safety guidelines around our generation. So learning to be pretty independent when we were young, that was something that I think is a real Gen X thing. I remember the whole being out, on the street until the lights came on. Like all those we were encouraged to go play in rivers and streams and climb trees and do all those things that nowadays, I don't know about in your countries, but definitely in New Zealand, there are so many rules around what our tamariki, our children, can actually do now. Everything is around safety and protection. And so that whole sense of being able to go and freely explore like I did as a kid, my kids didn't get to experience that in their childhood quite the same. So that's what I think. You go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what makes my generation unique, Gen Z, is our ability to include others without any sort of judgment, really. I feel like nowadays the younger ones, we're able to branch out more and connect more with a lot of different people. I think all generations can, but it's just our generation, we've grown up with all the new technology right as it's coming out, so able to connect with people, invite people to things. Hey, come to this event. Is all of this happening, and just being really open with each other and meeting new people constantly without any fear of judgment. But
Thank you. I like that. Kabrielle, tell me, what made the Alpha unique? Speak up, sweetheart.
So what makes my generation unique is that in my generation, we love to be friends and connect with a lot of people, even if there are different generations. We love to be with them, and make friends, and enjoy and have time together.
Nice. Yeah, I actually see that all the time. Yeah, that's so cool and true. All right, so Peter, tell us about your generation from your perspective.
Yeah, I think we were a generation that said what we thought, but not always the best things. We had the 70s and the 80s, where if you look back at some of the TV programs from then, and you squirm now when you think, well, you can't say that now, and you couldn't do that. And that's a good thing in some respects, that we're more aware of how our words and our things impact on others. but equally we've lost that freedom of speech. You know, I remember talking to my son about it, and he said, "Dad, I'm really scared sometimes to say something because I don't want it to be said in the wrong way or seen as I'm trying to, or, you know, if I say something wrong to a girl, is that going to be, I'm going to be seen as misogynist, or, you know, and it can be very restrictive when you go the other way. So I think we probably were I always say we were the loads of money generation, if you remember loads of money, and that sort of spend and get rich was the key to success and the key to happiness. And I think people have realized that that's not the key to success, the key to happiness. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm maybe being a bit negative about some of the things of my generation, but yeah, I like the idea of hard work, and I like that idea of we had that freedom to take risks, and that was good. But yeah, and I think we need to empower our young people to take those risks.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing and letting us understanding more about you, Jen. All right, so John.
Well, part of the baby boomer generation is that we kind of came of age at a time of economic prosperity, where it was easier to purchase a home, earn a sufficient wage. Business, well, here in the United States, of course, was booming. And also, we were a generation that started out not relying on technology, but it developed over the course of time. And obviously, the younger generations now are more expert in the use of that technology than us baby boomers might be. Which is why I'm here in church, and Joe had to get me set up to be able to join this conference. So,
I see that.
But yeah, we were the, you know, the way they call it the baby boom, because so many men came home from the war and started their families, and that's that. So
Yep. All right, thank you. All right, so Drew.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm gonna throw a very American thing here, and you guys, it's okay if you hate it, it's all right. But I remember like 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less, I saw all these posts saying like millennials ruined Kmart, millennials are destroying Chili's, and I was sitting back here like, my bad, I really didn't mean to do that. I was just existing. Like, I wasn't trying to destroy all these department stores. I'm just here. But I came of age in this time when it was like really like, to be seen as millennial was to be kind of like superficial or vapid or self-centered or destructive. And so a lot of the narrative that I think surrounded the millennial generation at the time when we were coming of age was really just like pointing out all of the bad things that we did to everybody else. And we're like, we didn't mean to do this. It just kind of happened. And there's a lot of downsides, I think, to that, because I mean, like, I'm really sorry to the department stores that I personally destroyed. But I think about the challenge that we did set actually to the way things have always been, you know, and like the ways that we are like really allergic to kitsch, you know, and to like the way things have always been. I think that our generation is a great challenge to the status quo. And because of that, there's a lot of negativity toward us. But I'm actually really encouraged, because I think because of the great challenge that our generation has posed to the status quo, I think we were able to set up the emerging generations after us to be more authentic and earnest, and to have more honest faith. And like Rangimarie was saying earlier, to have that kind of like authentic kind of connection and inclusivity that is seen in Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So I think in some ways there's like, there are challenges to being in this kind of, I think I see our generation as kind of like a bridge, like kind of a tricky, weird intermediate place. But I think there's new growth coming out of us that I'm really excited to see.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. I think each one of us can wear a badge that and really say, hey, I represent my generation, because you have articulated so well about your generation. And me listening, I have even a greater appreciation just hearing you speaking about your generation, and not reading that from book, you know. So it's just the beauty and the blessing and the art, Drew, in listening, as I listen to you, Kabrielle, and you tell me about your generation Alpha, about how you connect, I'm able to say, oh yeah, I actually see that every day, but I never take the time to take note of it to say this is really you, and I think it's a unique thing. And we started out talking about what's the worst food. Another question that is in the mutual interview is, what's your favorite food? In this context, this is my favorite food, where all the generation come together. It's a kaleidoscope of generations. Listen, we're from different cultural perspectives, from the US, from New Zealand, from help me out.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah. I'm from Jamaica, right? I'm a Jamaican as well. My daughter, she's a Bahamian Jamaican, US. So but all of these come together. It's the spice of life. So with that in mind, as we pull this discussion to a close, and I'm seeing the comments, by the way, on Zoom, and it is heated up there. I really like it. I really like what you're leaning into these questions, because what Intergenerate, as an Intergenerate team, what we want you to do is to take these discussions back to your context and actually do them. You see the QR code right there to the bottom of our screen. You're able to do that. It's on our website. You're able to connect and get the information so you can have this conversation, because the way in which we are feeling on this live broadcast right now, we're in different spaces. Well, we're in the same space here, right? But we're in different spaces. But I'm feeling that we're being drafted into each other by speaking from our generational perspective. It's just amazing. So let's wrap it up with this question, because we want to keep on time. I see we're really at the end of our time now. And hear me out. This is a question. What would justice look like deliberately, including all generations, including all of us? We're gonna start with you, Drew.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a little bit more of an examination of the church's systems and structures that maybe would promote some more equity between the generations. I know this is harder in more like liturgical systems and maybe more high church places. I know it's challenging, but I'd like to see what it would look like if we could create some of our like worship systems and the structures we worship inside of together with our young people. Because I do think that, specifically in my generation, I think things weren't quite handed down to us very well. And so I think that there aren't, at least in my context, there aren't very many millennial pastors. And now we're seeing, hopefully, who can we raise to be the next pastors that come behind us, Gen Z? How can we be that bridge? I think we need to examine some of our structures. And maybe this is another too far. Maybe I'll be a little blunt, but maybe we need to examine some of the ways we are also training our pastors. It's becoming challenging for people to even get into this place to lead. So how can we enable more lay leadership, specifically among young people? I think that's the huge thing, creating agency in young people so that they can, really be included in every element. That's what I think is needed in this time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We'll go right to John. Thank you, Drew. That was powerful.
I kind of think of the justice component having to do with making sure that we leave future generations that they can sustain everything going forward. We know that it's a challenge, but I think it's important that we need to be able to keep things flowing and keep things growing.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your contribution. Okay. Oh yeah, I was looking for you, Peter. Found you.
Yeah, I think it's acceptance of others. It's accepting each other and reducing the labeling. I think we label often. So we say, oh, that's the children. They're going to come. The children are going to stand up and do something in worship. And then we give them a clap and a round of applause. And that's the children. We've labeled them and we've ticked that box. And I think that's terrible. I think we need to have just an acceptance of everyone. and an acceptance. And I grew up in a society, in my generation, really in Northern Ireland, we went through the what they call the Troubles, where we were experts at labeling each other. And I think a justice would see that lack of labeling. And I'm delighted to see my Gen Z kids are not labeling their friends in the same way. And I think that would be a really positive thing in churches, that we could just accept each other. Doesn't matter what flavor of church we come from. Doesn't matter what that we just accept each other and love each other.
Love it, Peter. All right, we go to Jeannine and Rangimarie. I think I said right.
Yes. I think from my perspective, one of the things which is kind of like a bit of a catchphrase for us is that all of our rangatahi and tamariki, our youth and children, should be seen, heard, and included in every part of our ministry. So we work really hard to make sure that we make space for that to actually happen. And the more that we're sort of on this journey of like, what does a truly intergenerational church family look like, we're also really pushing that like uphill to our seniors, because they are also people who sometimes get overlooked and don't have space, to actually share their heart, or even, for people to see them and recognize that they're there and that they still have something to contribute. And it's really special. So for us, being seen, heard, and included is for everyone, for the whole whānau. There's space for everyone to have a voice. No one gets left behind. Yes.
I think letting all generations that are like at the church and part of the congregation, like giving them a chance to be able to voice their opinions in like an open and welcoming space, just depending what it may be on. And I think being able to share wisdom and knowledge between the generations, because that'll like bring us together. You're sharing the knowledge to the next generation who will be coming up, but also like it's still including our seniors and all of that, and finding ways to include everyone.
Wow. Thank you so much. Kabrielle, it's you. What does justice look like? What would justice look like deliberately including all generations?
So, like, for example, like other generations should be able to like connect with generations, like for example, Gen Alpha and
Gen Z.
They should be able to connect with one another and not be scared or afraid. They should like show up and like not hide just because they think that their generation is not as showable as inside this year. They should like know that they should like show and be brave and
I like that. Thank you so much. That's it. When generation come together and really consider and think intently about the next generation, it makes life together wonderful. And I think these are the conversation that sparks that kind of relational bond. Because even as we consider these 6 questions that we have gone through, I think God has given us general as well as personal relational directives as how we ought to relate to each other. It didn't make all of us males or all of us female. Neither are we all from the same country. The same thing is, we're not from the same generational perspective or cohort. And that's the spice of life. That's what makes life good, as we do it together. And we call it intergenerate. We intergenerate. When we intergenerate, the product of that is what the Lord intended it to be. It's amazing. I saw the comments, folks. I appreciate your comments on the stream. Let me just share. So the only thing I didn't like about visiting my Irish ancestral home was their idea of food.
No, you're in the wrong place. Oh,
Wow.
cruel, cruel.
Go somewhere. Oh Lord. Okay, so that's promise. All right, let me see. All right, so Missy, what's this, Kabrielle? Can you read that for me? Missy Ditchburn 7028. All right, says the challenge of the status quo. I guess that's leading back to earlier. I believe it was you, Drew. Is a really helpful description. Thank you. Love all the amazing things about each generation. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. And here's the other thing that's coming and says system change. Yep, that's my thing. System change. I love it. Yeah. System change, acceptance, love, seen, heard, and included. No one left behind. Have a voice to share, connecting across generation. Wow, so many amazing pictures of justice. I love it. I love it. I am working on something. I don't really want to say it because it's for intellectual thing is. But when we connect together as generation, we grow, and those roots. It will not just go deep into our generation, but it will go deep also into the generations of others. Thank you so much for joining us on this generational talk. We have blown the time, but we appreciate you joining us, and this has been a wonderful conversation. I am your host, Lara Green.
Bye-bye.
And this
Thank you.
this
care.
is generational conversation.
Meeting you.
Thank you so much.